So, well, participants, our discussions on Western philosophy has been continuing, and we have discussed some of the most important, aspects of one of the most important branches of Western philosophy, that is idealism. And here in this class, we are to complete our discussion today on idealism. And here in this class, we are to discuss the view or the concept of idealism relating to the roles of teachers. Thenceforth, we are to discuss about the views of idealism, about the concept of discipline, and the remaining part here in this class. In the last class, we discussed the viewpoints or the views of idealism concerning to curriculum of different levels or stages of education. And here in this class, let us see about or for the analysis of the roles of teachers, we can depend on the modern standpoint as well as for explaining or for clear explanations. We can or we are bound to depend on the philosophical explanations, maybe depending on the philosophical schools of Western philosophy, or maybe depending on the Indian schools of philosophy. So let us see what are the views of the idealist or the philosophers who are closely connected with idealism relating to the roles of teachers. Without the presence of teachers, teaching cannot take place, as idealism asserts or explains. Teaching is a dual exercise where the presence of the teacher and students or the learners has special importance. It is an interaction between the teacher and the taught or the student. Idealism has given importance on the functions of teachers so much well. Let us see the next. According to idealism, let us see, these are the specific points in the formal process of education. The place of the teacher is supreme. He is the highest authority and very important. The teacher remains in the upper hierarchy of the process of transaction or dissemination of knowledge. The teachers are the gardeners. They know how to take care of the young children. Teachers always help the children to develop their inner qualities, inside qualities, inborn capabilities, and make them fit for ideal living as per the explanations of idealism. Now come to this second parameter, means the views of idealism relating to discipline. Discipline is one of the most important parameters of education and the prime concern of all processes of education is to help the learners become much disciplined for doing justice towards the roles he or she is to play, counting every minute aspect of his or her time. Discipline has very important roles in the process of personality development of the child as per the explanations of the school of idealism. Discipline has also specific importance for a peaceful life, which is the prime concern of every people, every person. Without discipline, man cannot lead life successfully. It means success of life depends on discipline, and education is a process of imparting all kinds of instruction, disseminating all necessary knowledge for understanding the concept or the impact of discipline, as well as for becoming disciplined to become successful in living life. Let us see the next. Idealism has put importance on the following aspects so far the issue of discipline is concerned. Number one, idealism advocates discipline at all cost. Discipline should be maintained strictly for the development of sound moral character and strong personality of the young learners. Second, for discipline, if need be, freedom of the children should be restricted by the ideals of life and value system of the society. Means freedom is to be curtailed for the cause of discipline. And discipline is to be maintained at all cost. This is the view or the explanations or the views of idealism. Idealism emphasizes on the impressionistic discipline. Impressionistic discipline means there should be impression on the personality of the learners. Let us see. School is a formal place of learning as per idealism. Without school, no formal education is possible. School is a place where from children acquire necessary education for their life. Schools help to preserve cultural heritage and spread them among the younger generations of society. Schools also help to preserve the social heritage of human society and spread them among the young learners so that they can help to continue the process of growth, the process of uplift, and the process of change in grand scale. Let us see the next. Idealism and the school means concerning to the functioning or the role of school. The idealist or the school of idealism expresses idealism has evaluated the value and determined the roles of schools at the following. Means how much important the functioning or the exercises of the schools are, as well as what are the roles which are to be played by the schools for helping the learners to understand or realize the potentialities of cultural heritage as well as social heritage for the development of personality attributes. The views of idealists are: schools are the place of formal education. Schools help to spread education which are necessary for individual and social life in more systematic and dynamic way. Second, school environment is the effective environment of education of the young learners. Schools help to spread ideals of life among the young learners. Schools help to develop human personality from all sides. Perhaps by considering the views of idealism, Gandhi at the time of explaining the concept of education said, "On friends, for your learning, I just am to place the views of Gandhi before you, how he considered the views of idealism at the time of explaining the definition or his concept of education." Gandhi said, I quote, "By education, I do mean an all-round turnout of the best inside in man, body, mind, and the spirit." Means the roles of education is to draw out the best potentialities in human physiology, to draw out, take out the inner potentialities in human spirit, to draw out the inner capabilities in human mind, so that a holistic personality is constituted or formed with the help of the development of all the attributes which are dormant in human anatomy or physiology. Those are to be exposed in human mind, in human spirit, on human body. Means Gandhi understood so much well the importance of physical fitness, which has become one of the most important considerations for survival during this ongoing COVID-19 situation. Long back Gandhi explained about at the time of explaining the concept of education, he insisted on the development of human physiological capabilities with the help of the process of education, on development of all mental capabilities or potentialities with the help of the process of education, on development of all moral attributes with the help of the process of education, and still today in this globalized, post-globalized social order where science and technology has established domination over human exercises or human life, these things are very much important, and perhaps Vivekananda also to some extent depended on the idealistic viewpoints at the time of explaining the concept of education. Vivekananda defined education, and for your understanding the idealistic school of education, particularly the viewpoints of idealism concerning to the role of teacher, concerning to discipline, and concerning to the functioning of school, Vivekananda also, considering all the important parameters, defined education. He explained, I quote, I place before you, education is the manifestation. Education is the manifestation of all perfection already in man. And perhaps Vivekananda to some extent studied the philosophy of Rousseau, the great pragmatic philosopher, at the time of forwarding his definition concerning to education. He defined education is a process with the help of which all the perfect human capabilities are manifested, are exposed, are helped to flourish. Means man is by birth perfect. If anything imperfect is there in human personality, it is because of the influence of human society, because of human social influence, because of the bad influence of human company. And that's why Rousseau said at the time of explaining the importance of nature, everything is good when it is in the hand of nature. Everything is spoiled, everything is made dirty, everything is polluted in the hand of man. Man pollutes everything, man degrades everything, man dilutes everything. So Rousseau, at the time of understanding the importance of nature on human personality growth process, explains everything is good when it is in the hand of nature. Nature is good. Everything is spoiled in the hand of man. Man is a spoiler. Man is a destroyer. Man is a polluter. Man dilutes everything else. So friends, education from the standpoint of idealism is a process for the development of holistic personality, means development of all attributes of human mental parameter, human moral parameter, human anatomical parameter. You see all these things, and by realizing or understanding the concepts which are being provided by either Gandhi or Vivekananda or Rousseau, you can understand the concept of the school of idealism, one of the most important schools of Western philosophy, and its views concerning to the role of teacher, concerning to the concept of discipline, and thenceforth relating to curriculum, relating to the role of education, function of education, etc. Now, I declare today the end of the discussion on the idealistic school of philosophy. This is the end part of this most important Western school, that is idealism. Thank you so much.